During the course of this presentation, the studies undertaken comprise of A. Extensive qualitative research, which included speaking to consumers, temple priests, and travel agents, and B. Fairly exhaustive online reading material on informational websites like festivalsofindia.in, iskon.org, where'smypandit.com, more of which are covered later. The limitations of this presentation are that A, it does not include quantitative research data like business size of a particular subsegment because of data unavailability, and has not deployed extensive consumer research of the magnitude ideal for such a study. The field of worship in Hindu religion has been scrutinized by breaking the consumer needs into three chief segments: a need for products, a need for information, and a need for services. The space of religion or worship is, of course, large, more so in India, where, according to the 2012 Win Gallup Global Index, 81% of Indians were religious. While this 81% is a decline from the last study conducted in 2005, the absolute percentage, 81%, is still a very healthy number when compared globally. This in effect means that at all times, either some religious information is being accessed, or a religious product is being consumed, or a religious service is being provided and used. Within this vast puja worship space that encompasses a wide variety of products, a myriad of services, and an almost overwhelming information landscape, Mangaldeep holds a significant share in the product space, with it being the market leader in the Dhoop and Agarbatti subsegments, and its continuously expanding product lines to include new products like camphor, oil, etc. Before we start answering important business questions like what's the consumer need Mangaldeep has been catering to, and what are the other possible business avenues Mangaldeep can enter into, it's important to revisit the Mangaldeep brand because every activity we pursue should be consistent with what the brand stands for. It has stood for a fairly long period, a brand that offers purity in prayer. With the recent very successful Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu campaign, it has started occupying a mind space larger than just purity or prayer. It is thus only right that at this time that the brand's offering to the consumers also expand through creation of new properties. Since extension into new product lines is being looked into expertly by the Matches and Agarbatti SBU, this presentation would deep dive into the information and service offshoots of the puja industry, which are equally relevant in the business space of worship. Beginning with information, we explore the possibility and the relevance of Mangaldeep as a knowledge portal for all that is worship. Information can itself be broken into information about a product related to worship. For example, where can I buy or what comprises of Mangaldeep temple agarbattis. Information about a service related to worship. For example, how can I book a Char Dham or a Tirupati Yatra? Or educational information about worship, which would encompass many things, much like the whys of worship, the prayer, the God, the religion, the meaning, the significance, literature on that, the house of worship, the methods, the proper methods of conducting a puja, etc. The whens of the worship, exploring the time dimension of worship, when to conduct a prayer, have a calendar of significant religious occasions, etc. The space dimension of worship, the where of the worship, where to conduct the prayer, a map of significance, religious sites, how to get there, whether there, etc. And of course, the who of the worship, the information about Hindu deities, their mythologies, and their significance. In the offline space, religious books form the key information source and are outside the scope of this presentation. In the online space, however, this rather large landscape of information related to worship is currently scattered all over the web. We now review two of the most popular knowledge resources on the web. The first one being festivalsofindia.in. While being very exhaustive and containing many things like a religion wise list, a state wise list, a month wise calendar, gods and goddesses, religious spots, melas, fairs, holiday list, Hindi calendar, the website fares poorly on most other stats, with a global web traffic rank of a lakh 12,000 and declining, and an equally ordinary rank in India of 14,957, which to put into context is even lower than itcportal.com rank, which is not a consumer facing website per se. This website barely gets any meaningful size of traffic. And with a bounce rate of 61%, which means that 6 out of 10 people come to the website and close the page immediately. This knowledge portal is neither reaching out to enough consumers or reaching out effectively. However, the other way to look at this data is to compare it with the traffic of the so called established brands in the space of worship. As poor as it may have sounded till now, festivalsofindia.in gets 2.5 times the traffic of T Series website, which has a very popular series called the T series Bhakti Sagar, creates a lot of video content and has a strong relevance to the space of worship. The website also gets 3 times the amount of traffic the ISKCON official website gets, and much more traffic than the Sanatan Dharm website also. The key reason for that being that the site is scoring very high on various search engine optimization parameters like content quantity, content quality, longevity, the way the site is indexed and read by Google, and this makes it fare much better to the web portals of the established brands. The second website is a generic website. It gets 5 times the amount of traffic of the previous websites we were talking about, Festivals of India. This one is indiaonline.in. It contains information across various domains, not only religion, but culture, cuisines, cinema, sports, astrology, and thus gets a lot of varied traffic and is not specific to religion. The information on religious tourist spots, however, is one of the best organized and exhaustive when compared to other information sources. The info also includes a description of these religious tourist spots, the mode of travel to them, distances from key cities, links to accommodation and transport options, etc. There are almost endless other information sources spread all over the web, each answering a wide variety of questions pertaining to information on religion, worship, prayers, deities, tourism, etc. However, simply put, the first half of this presentation, which deals with Mangaldeep as a knowledge portal, simply put, is that the space for an authentic and comprehensive information portal, which is efficiently searchable on Google and is thus widely accessed on the web, remains available. It remains available to Mangaldeep. It's a large gap that should get filled, especially since being the knowledge leaders in the space of worship will add back largeness and will add back credibility to the brand. Apart from that, we'll also cohesively attach Mangaldeep further within the puja space. To achieve superiority as a knowledge portal on the web, we need to do two basic things. One is to create a lot of content, have a content team. And B, ensure that the content is SEO friendly, search engine optimization friendly, both of which are relatively easy tasks because the competition is not very strong. The competition that we are talking about barely gets any traffic. It will not be very difficult for us to be one of the top three search results for most relevant web queries related to worship on Google within a time period of 6 to 12 months. Of course, if all is executed well.